Welcome to this episode of Tell Me More. It's Tanner here, and I am in the studio. We just wrapped up with Katy Reed Hodges and her beautiful husband, Ryan Hodges. We talked about all things family. We talked about students and young adults, what's going on in the life of our church looking towards the fall. And we capped off talking about an amazing Sunday here at First Baptist Church of Arlington, where Katy actually preached and blessed us. So buckle up, listen in, and have a good rest of your day.
Okay, welcome to this week's episode. We're in the podcast studio. It is Monday morning. It is 11 a.m. However, no D-Dub, no Luke Stair.
They're in Australia.
If you're watching, you already know it. G'day, Luke and D-Dub. But if you're watching, you already see my guests today. We have Tanner Watson.
Hello.
Holding it down. Thank you, Tanner.
Absolutely.
I want to hear about life in college. Youth ministry.
Absolutely.
And we also have, for the first time ever on the podcast, drumroll, my husband, Ryan Drake Hodges.
Drake?
Well, yeah, that's my middle name.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm a newbie on podcasting.
Yeah, we're working on the mic placement. We want to get that rich, beautiful voice.
Absolutely.
Recorded.
Rich
It's
and
best
beautiful.
There's a lot of ways we could do this. There's a lot we could talk about. We just learned that Ryan's middle name is Drake.
Yes. I actually, can I?
Yeah, please.
I
go,
have something
go,
to start
go.
with. You said something very specific yesterday in your sermon that.
Okay, jump right in.
I have a grievance.
Okay.
Ryan's mustache is 100% friend group approved, and to bring that up on stage yesterday,
Okay.
it was.
I only did that in the second service too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I added that. So if you're listening for the first service, it's about when we talked about looking in a mirror. The fact that millions of people throughout history never had a mirror, which is wild, or a good mirror.
It was a beautiful
good mirror.
I loved it.
Oh, well, thank you. But the idea that you really had, I think vanity just wasn't as prevalent. That's a whole sermon in itself. It really is. But yeah, the idea that you had to just trust your spouse for judgment calls on your fashion. Yeah. And I made fun of Ryan's mustache.
I will say I re-listened to it. You did not make fun of it. You just noticed it. And I think we took it as super defensively.
I'll say this. Multiple people in our group text were ready
Absolutely.
to storm the stage and stand for our brother Ryan.
I will say, in our home life, if there is something that Ryan is wearing or doing that I think is egregious, I tell him.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's a healthy marriage.
I think that's the role of a spouse. So, if I really thought that mustache, which right now you just have a little beard.
No, thank you.
Yeah, quite a nice beard. See, again, he took as a compliment. I just said, you have a little beard. And he's like, oh, thank you so much for noticing.
Okay. I take what I can get.
Yeah, I know. It's like our dog that is so neglected now because the triplets are forefront. She takes whatever she can get, any kind of pet, any kind of anything. So,
Man,
okay.
I love it.
Yeah,
we haven't.
Tanner,
we're going to
let's
get to
talk.
the sermon.
Yeah.
We can get to the sermon
later, but right now we have someone who's never been on Tell Me More before. I've been on a couple times.
Let's go.
Ryan, you're here. It's your first time on Tell Me More. How does it feel?
I feel extremely thankful. I've never listened to a sermon with more intensity than I've had. I'm just coming. I'm like, they're going to ask me all sorts of questions, and I've listened to the podcast. I know that's not what it is.
It could be though.
It really could be.
We could ask you a bunch of questions about Romans 12.
How about just verses 3 through 5?
Either way, let's go. No, I know a lot about Ryan, but I want the church to know a lot about Ryan. So I have questions I could lob out. Tanner, you want to lob a few?
Well, we know that Ryan is married to Katy Reed Hodges.
Yes.
True.
We know that Ryan
6 years.
is the father of Sam, Jack, and Ben.
True.
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Lots of experience
There's a
there.
timeline.
Ryan, tell us a little more. Where are you from? What you been doing the last 30 years?
Okay, I can tell you 35. Let's
Quick
call you out.
correction.
I didn't actually know.
No, I'm from
35.5. Thank you very much.
yeah, from Amarillo, Texas. Still very proud. I still say that's my hometown. At some point, that needs to where I'm from. It needs to change to Arlington.
Your
at some
hometown
point.
is your hometown.
Well, I still have a lot of pride.
You spent all 18 years there.
The Panhandle.
Panhandle, baby. And then went to Texas Tech for Reckham for undergrad. So a lot of times on the high plains. Went to.
So until 22, you were a Panhandle guy.
Did not see a tree till I was 23 years old.
What was that experience like?
I loved it.
Majestic.
Yeah, majestic.
And when you saw the tree, particularly.
Yeah. That thing stops wind. It's not just my face anymore. It's pop marked by that kind of stuff.
You loved it?
I loved it.
Panhandle living?
Good place, great place to grow up. then it became a good place to leave.
Yeah, but say, is that a great place to be from? That kind of thing?
No, you can still. I love that place, and we should move back sometime.
You heard it here.
I'm growing. I have a really close friend that lives in Lubbock right now, and he's got me convinced that Lubbock is not a terrible place to live.
We both separately, Ryan and I, lived in Lubbock. Lubbock's great. I loved Lubbock.
You spent time in Levelland,
yeah,
Texas.
I lived outside of Lubbock, but all my friends were there. I lived in Levelland, which that was an important distinction for Ryan to make. I lived 30 miles west of Levelland, and while Ryan was at Tech, actually, but we didn't meet until we moved to Waco. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'm not taking over. I'm trying not to take over.
No, you should take
over. But
over.
I like Lubbock. But here's the thing about moving back to the Panhandle. Mm-hmm. Frankly, show me a church in West Texas that is moderate middle. Like very liberal churches do exist. I mean, they're small and they're kind of these little colonies. But to find a moderate church where they would fully affirm my role in ministry, but also not be just kind of off the cliff liberal, find it. It's just a tough.
How do you feel about Methodism?
West Texas Methodism. Maybe.
No, I'm sure there are good churches out there, and I love the church I came from as well.
Yeah. No. They formed you. They're great people still today. Great people. So, okay, well, we got the first 22 years.
Okay, yeah. And then felt a calling to ministry, went to Truett Seminary at Baylor.
Sick and Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Sick 'em. All three of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do they trust us with this podcast?
Well, Dr. Wiles will tell you, and I'll say this live. Dr. Wiles will tell you it takes one Southwestern student or graduate to clean up the mess of 3 Truett graduates. And I would say that
let me think about this ratio.
Takes 3 Truett graduates to clean up the mess of 1 Southwestern graduate. No, maybe not. I don't know. I respect Dr. Wiles.
It depends on the era, right? And who. Because like our good friend Chelsea graduated from Southwestern.
That's true. So did
10 years ago.
Kurt Crodel and lots of high quality graduates from
we got Gary Stidham teaching out there.
Yes. So we can't villainize.
No.
Yeah.
But if they're going to jab at us, we got to jab back.
Yeah. But if you don't villainize unless you want to be villainized. So hold on to your Truett Seminary.
No, when we were at seminary, we did intramurals, which was a lot of fun because we play against
fun.
These 18-year-old
frat boys.
Yeah. It's so fun to beat them. But we always joked about we should have intramural teams against other seminaries. And we talked about
that would be
the seminaries we'd love to play and the seminaries that we would be like, we do not have a chance against some of those guys.
Line it up for us.
Oh, man. I don't know. You go first.
We'll say,
what seminary would you love basketball. To take
on? Because you got to choose a sport, right?
Yeah, y'all played softball and soccer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
flag
football.
And flag
football.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so so say flag football or whatever.
Okay, flag football.
Yeah.
So
versus who's like the dream team? I'd love to play.
Fuller versus Truett flag football.
Oh, Duke.
Yale.
Oh, yeah, I think
Harvard Divinity.
Like some of the Harvard, the Brights, we could take them. The kind of the 6
the liberal elites.
Yeah, we could take them. No question. The more the 6 SBC seminaries. Mm-hmm. They're big. They have a very wide group of people they pull from. I think it's a good challenge. I think we should challenge them. I can't because I'm fat and unhealthy now. But
10 years ago.
No, man. 10 years ago, it still wouldn't be great, but it would be better.
Anyway,
So went to seminary, met Katy, moved up here. We had triplets.
Along the way.
Here we are.
Wow. All right.
Here we are.
Skipped over the last 12 years of your life.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell me this, just so the audience knows, what do you like to do outside of taking care of 3 triplets and being married? What are your favorite pastimes? I happen to know them because we're friends, but maybe the audience doesn't know.
Yeah, we'd like to do them together. We like to play golf. Mm-hmm. Really, it's a lot of just hanging out and playing games. I like to do.
So golf is one of those?
Mm-hmm. I used to do a little bit more reading and podcasts, but now I work from home. And I realize,
you don't have the commute.
Yeah. Kyle Dossie asked me, what are you reading or listening to now? And I kind of fumbled around for 30 seconds. And he's like, you could say nothing. That's okay. You're not, it's just me. You don't need to impress me.
It's true. When you commuted to Dallas and back, you consumed a lot of books and podcasts.
I was very well read, which is not well educated.
Were you reading while you were driving up 75 towards Walnut Hill?
So was everybody else. They're just on their phone,
Well, it's funny because me and Ryan became friends because he invited me to go golfing. And
that's right.
One summer, and we golfed almost every Friday that summer, and it got hot.
In the late afternoons.
When
it was appropriate to sneak off and do those things.
Yes, it was awesome, but it was warm.
I don't golf if it's over 90.
We chose to get a cart if it was over 100 that summer.
And we drove a cart a lot.
We drove a cart a lot.
And it's still fun.
Oh yeah. With Tanner.
Well, the right company.
With Kyle. Yeah. It's suffering together. That's important.
I got better at golf that summer because I played so much.
I sweated more than I ever have with Tanner and Kyle.
We love this. I think this ties into the sermon, so I'll ask this question to both of y'all. Male friendship. It's very different than female friendship.
Certainly.
In my sense of things. It takes very little for me to hang out with my friends. Like, let's get coffee. Let's go get a smoothie. And we can talk for 2 hours and catch up and talk about deeper things. Male friendship's different. So, like, what do you think is, like, the best medium to have real friends?
That's a good question, because it took me, I've talked to Ryan Chandler about this, like, it took me years to find, like, integrated male friendships.
Here in Arlington.
Yeah, post like college.
Yeah, school is a great way to do it, even grad school.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend Andrew out in Forney, and he is like, all my friends are really just the spouses of my wife's friends, and it's like hard to integrate it. Why do you think it's so difficult, Tanner?
That part is true for women too. It's hard to make friends after college, I think.
But I feel like women, I don't know, but maybe it's just you or the people I know. I just feel like
it's easier. It is. There's a lot of isolation with men, and that's why I bring it up. Like, I think male friendship is extremely valuable, extremely life-giving, but seems kind of elusive for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, there's whole books written over it. And I think, I don't know why it's hard totally, but I can tell you that something that is important for it is effort. But it stinks because sometimes effort is not met with like success. And
so you put yourself out there, and like really try, and it's just
it's almost like dating.
Yeah, it is. No,
like,
I think finding friends is totally like dating. It's vulnerable. You got to kind of like jive, have the chemistry. Yeah.
And then it also matters, like life phase matters. Like there are young adults in Arlington, but sometimes they're hard to find. And I think you finding the community that works for you, whether it be at a church or at a coffee shop. I know people who like I know that Ryan's done this, and I've also participated in this, but like communities that just play games together, whether it be like board games or super intense, like Dungeons and Dragons, or
they have a reason, but they have a purpose for gathering. Yeah, I think that's very valuable.
And I think like maybe the key is finding a place. So for Ryan and I, for a long time, and Kyle too. Kyle's behind the camera, by the way.
Yeah, we have kind of a bro podcast going on today, in the sense that it's my husband and his friends.
Katie, welcome to our podcast.
Just to be clear,
bro takeover.
It's still my podcast.
This podcast has been sponsored by Male Companionship.
We love it.
Yes,
it's really important.
So, but the medium was the golf course or a coffee shop.
Yeah, but you need like a space, like a third space, right?
Yeah, and part of it too for me was it's not fair to compare it to super formative times in my life where I found friends, because in school, we were very like-minded. We were going through something together. We're also a little bit younger, so we're kind of still learning who we are, and I think it's an easier time to make friends.
And you have more margin, right? I mean, like, you just do.
And then you go from your highest point of community to your absolute lowest when you graduate. The only time I could really think of that would be like maybe when you retire. Like that's the only like comparative.
Just shakes everything up.
And like Tanner's saying,
and you often move when you graduate.
You graduate.
Totally, you're removed from the community that you built. Yeah.
And then you're
every
not
phase too is like, so like when you get married, like, or when you have kids. So like when Ryan comes and hangs out with us, that means that there's a chance that Katie's at home with kids.
Usually 100% chance. Yes.
Yeah, but what y'all have developed a good rhythm too is some of the hangouts happen after bedtime, which is cool for us, because our kids still go to bed quite early, like 7:30. Yeah. They're in bed at 7:30. They're asleep at who knows when.
Man, I get sleepy.
Say that again.
I get sleepy. That's the cost of friendship.
Yeah, but then it's like y'all can get a later dinner or hang out.
It just becomes busy.
Yeah, but I think y'all have done a good job of prioritizing it.
Well, there's an Anne Lamott quote, busyness is laziness. Like if I'm too busy for friends, then I'm just being lazy with how I'm dedicating
with how you're
time.
Scheduling your time,
and it's obviously, it could be, I mean, it's more true of, I think she was speaking up the things of God. Like if I'm too busy to read my Bible or be with God, then I'm just being lazy. But I think that also gets to male friendship.
I think it's a great, just like prioritizing friendship, prioritizing anything is really like, if you really want it, then you can go get it. But I think it's really valuable. I ask you that because I think I've seen y'all do it, figure it out, prioritize
Man, it's been
it.
beautiful. I've been so super thankful of our group of friends that a lot of them are adjacent to our church, but there's people who don't even go to our church.
But they're attracted to, they want attracted like it's a missional thing. I mean, everything's missional, but they really just, you found people who also want community and they're like-minded enough to enjoy it. So I think that's really, really cool. So if somebody's listening and they're like, I want that, but I'm not sure how to get it. What do you think are like first steps for somebody to get friends?
Yeah, it's tough because there is a lot of pressure. Like, in the same way, like where there's pressure of dating. Like if you're thinking, like in your first date, it's like, am I going to marry this person? I know that's why you date, but
yeah, but that's an intense question for date one. A lot of pressure.
But I can understand it when you have like weeks and months of loneliness, and you're like, oh man, this person better be my friend. I think it's tough. And I've done that too, where I'm like, I really got to make this happen or not. And I think we've seen it. And so part of it for me, at least, has been just always making sure I'm putting myself out there, giving the time, just meeting new people in different environments as well. It doesn't always have to be like a super intense, tell me like how you're struggling, brother.
Yeah.
Like, like it's like,
you don't have to share your testimony every, like,
and it's like, and like making sure to make times. I know for, in this, hopefully this can be varied across gender, but I think for girls, I've seen more where it's like, hey, let's one-on-one get coffee. Or for guys, it's like, hey, let's go do this activity together. Like a lot of side-by-side time.
A lot of side-by-side, yeah.
For whatever reason that works for me.
Y'all need a thing, I think.
But like what Tanner's saying, you got to make time for that. And
I remember when we first moved up here, Ryan and I moved up here separately. I moved in 2015, and Ryan finished his MBA and then came up in 16, and then we dated for a long and storied time, and then eventually got married. But in maybe 2017, Ryan was like, I want to buy a PlayStation 4. We weren't married, so it's not like he needed my permission so much. It wasn't a mutual decision, but it was like, you have enough money. What do you want to do? Well, then we worked at D-Now. We were still doing like Wake Up Weekend, and we worked it and got a few gift cards, and it's like, yeah, let's go get that thing. Well, anyway, so Ryan got a PS4 and went back to his house, and it was like, immediately he was like, now I can play online with Dan, his friend Dan Vinson. And I was like, oh, had I known that this was like the machine that would help you keep up with your friends, then I would have bought it for you. Because you moved up here, to kind of do me a solid. And, I not that it was like a guilt-driven thing.
Right.
But it was like, I didn't realize that like the PS4, this is my ignorance, plugged into the internet and was like a medium where you play with your friends and you can like talk to them about their life while you're doing it. And so I've learned now, 10 years later, whatever that is, like now we all saved up and got Ryan a PS5 for his birthday last year. Because it's like, because his best friend who lives in another state got a PS5. Yeah. And it's like, I understand this is like the, I picture like the tin can with a string between it. Like this is the thing that helps bros.
Because up until that time,
stay together.
My best friends in Arlington were Henry Clark and Harrison Berryhill, who are people I like. And I love Henry. Henry's a friend of mine.
They're like, 60 and 3.
Yeah, one was 5 years old, and the other one was
3 or 5, somewhere like that.
Yeah, going on 6.
Yeah.
And so
it
was.
Yeah. I think the other thing that's really important is just sending the invite, and then like actually meaning it. So like our whole like group of guys that hangs out every week basically started with Kyle like saying, "Hey Tanner, you want to go get dinner?" And it was like we were both at the church late one night, and we just decided to go get dinner. And then
he's got his hands in the air.
Genuinely, what is a beautiful community?
The AV guy, being the community makers. We love it.
More than an AV guy.
Also, what's your gamer tag?
Sweet Baby Drake. No spaces. Find me.
Mine is Bishop of Brisket.
Oh, yeah. That's a dangerous question because if you...
This is a bro question. I would have never asked that question.
Well, that's also
what's
very
your handle on Twitter, but not...
Yeah.
Because I made that later in life. If you would have asked me that question and I had my gamer tag from the one I made in 8th grade, that's like...
What was that? Do you want to whisper it?
I'll tell you.
Okay, after.
I was not.
Did you have AOL? Did you have AOL Instant Messenger?
No, I just missed it.
Oh
boy.
This is the age gap between me and Ryan. I'm 4 years older. I was big on name. Ryan wasn't.
We did Instant Messenger. It was just like right at the tail end of some of that stuff.
Okay, so did you have a handle on that? And can you also not say that out loud?
No, I mean it shows my age. We Colby Bell had one, my friend Colby Bell. And so we would just go to Colby's house and watch him instant message girls. And like, it was sort of like a council, like our advisors. So Colby would do it.
Did he live in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
Could you like ride your bike over there?
Yeah, he was.
So you like rode your bike to Colby's house?
Yeah,
and watched him chat with girls online?
Yeah, I was on Harmony Street. He was on Emil. It was like, catty corner.
All right, Amarillo people. You hear it? You can picture it?
Olsen Park.
We had
Did the wind blow you over on the bike rides?
No, we're strong. We're strong boys out in Amarillo.
Did the bursts of wind blow you over on your little bike rides?
No, but we did not play Ultimate Frisbee. So
there it is. Yeah, I found it. You had Skype. You Skype with your friends.
We were Skypers.
Oh, okay,
But Skype's dead now.
I'm about to say I'm going to take this upstream and then we'll come back. Skype, come on! You had every tool to be the video conferencing.
We're critiquing Skype now, guys. Come on.
How did you let Zoom win?
Skype's been around forever.
You should have been the thing during the pandemic.
And they weren't.
And you weren't.
Yeah. We'll bring some business people on next week to.
All right, moving on. Same with Sears. I preached, I mentioned Sears. Sears, you already had all the distribution network and you let Amazon win. Shame on you.
Tough.
Okay. Let's take a promotion break. How is that?
Oh, sweet.
This podcast is always sponsored by and funded by First Baptist Church Arlington.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's tell the people what's going on around here.
Yeah, it's summer at First Baptist Church of Arlington still, so.
I don't want to say summer's landing the plane. But for us, we turn our face towards school year like August 1. So like in my mind, like July is, we're halfway through.
Yeah. In youth ministry, merge when our incoming 7th graders join youth ministries August 1 into Friday and Saturday.
Which it's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it really is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we have, I will say in July, there's still a lot of unique things that are happening in July. The pulpit has guests, other voices from within our staff. Connor's coming up this Sunday, which I'm excited about because he's talking about spiritual formation, which I think we'll talk about in the sermon is a great segue after like you belong, find your fit kind of thing. Like, how do you do it? Oh, spiritual formation. So whoever lined all that out, Dr. Bowes, good job. We'll have Luke the next week. Pastor's Bible study is going on Wednesdays, lunch. And so I think come to that. We've got great voices doing that. Brad's teaching on Wednesday. Women's summer clusters are meeting throughout the city. There's like 6 or 7 or 8 of those you can be a part of. Find those on the website. So there's a lot of good ministry still happening. Obviously, youth is like full force. The children's have Wow Camp this week. So I don't want to say it's done. It's all rolling.
But we're looking towards the fall.
But there's a lot to look forward to. So Tanner, you want to give us a little lob of what's coming? What are you excited about for the fall?
Like in youth ministry? Or
I want to talk a little bit about Merge Weekend, too.
Okay.
I think it's a fun and silly event. So.
Well, yeah, like I said, Merge is coming up. And so the Sunday after, so that would be August 3rd, is our incoming 7th graders' first Sunday in youth ministry.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And Merge is this fun event where we get to just introduce these new kids to youth ministry. We get to play fun games and have all kinds of activities and lessons. And they even receive or are assigned to a big, which is a 10th, 11th, or 12th grader in youth ministry who helps shepherd that incoming 7th grader through their first year in our youth group. And it's been a beautiful time. It's so fun. And it's really cool. And we give a lot of leadership opportunities to those 10th, 11th, and 12th graders,
which I think is
across the year.
Yeah, that's kind of like a hallmark of what we do here, which is awesome.
I love it. Yeah. And it's so cool to see those kids lead out and just love on their peers in a pretty unique way.
I would imagine, and I led in youth group. Brian, you led in youth group. Well, you became a believer in youth group.
Yeah.
And then pretty quickly started leading in youth group.
And
right?
I was a youth minister.
Yes. So y'all both can speak into this better than I, but I get the sense that having those 10th, 11th, and 12th graders lead actually forms them and really keeps them closer to the flock. And if they weren't leading, they may drift off and just not. You know what I mean? Like at that level, at that critical age, it's either like let them lead and grow in that particular way or lose them. Is that true?
Absolutely. Something we're actually working on in youth ministry and developing is some sort of discipleship or leadership. Pathway is probably a good word, or system, something where we can just catalyze and capitalize on the leadership that we already have to keep them plugged in, for one, but also to use them more effectively than we ever have been able to, just to make sure that they're not only leading with us on like Wednesday nights, Sunday mornings, and at our different events, but they're also going into their schools and being missionaries in their everyday lives.
Good. Yeah, it's
We're
cool.
really excited about it.
I love it. It's great. Ryan, anything there?
No, I think I mean, Tanner and Chelsea do great work. I mean, because I found my life in Christ later in youth group. And
you didn't grow up in church.
No.
I mean, you didn't go every Sunday when you were a kid.
But where I grew up, I assumed everybody was a Christian. And so I assumed I was a Christian because you're
say more about that.
Well, in 2005, if you're, growing up in that kind of area, then, and if you're not a Christian, then you're kind of weird. So I'm like, okay, I guess I am. But you kind of go to church events, here and there. But I didn't, my brother and I were on a spiritual pilgrimage. We were looking for
what does this mean?
We were looking for a basketball court indoors to play on weekly. And we found one at First Baptist Amarillo. But the thing is, they gently encouraged us to go to Wednesday night youth groups. And that was the first time I found real Christian community. And it was Bradley Maben is still the youth minister there.
Still there, which is
he's
that's
good.
A testament to
longevity,
a good youth minister.
Right? Yeah, and he's still kicking it.
When he did a great job of saying, youth, here is what life looks like alongside the church, and the church loves that because they.
So it's not just here's your own siloed. Attractional ministry to kind of coddle you.
Right.
But here's what it looks like to serve the church and love the church and be a part of the church.
Yeah. So on the leadership side, Bradley knows and still knows what he's doing. But what you're saying about community, when I was beginning to understand who Christ is and how it's relevant for my life, Bradley obviously did a lot, but most of that work was through the leaders Bradley raised up in 11th and 12th graders. And for me, it's
because you were how old at that time?
About 16.
Yeah.
And so I'm Bradley was, at the time, Bradley was 32. I thought he was 64. And so
Bradley's always been,
So
older
it was
than me.
Someone told
How's
me
that?
I looked 32 the other day. It was the clerk at the hotel on our Houston mission trip.
How'd
and I
that
said,
feel?
Whoa, I'm 28, okay?
I would love to be mistaken for 32. Let's just start there.
So to compare me to my youth minister, our faiths, I'm it was absurd. But to compare me to somebody like Logan Rasco, who's
a few years older.
Yeah, who's living out his faith, and then telling me this is actually what it is. And it's not God is not your enemy. He's your friend. And he just asks that you be satisfied with what satisfies God. And that's Jesus. And this is what it looks like at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday. I'm I can do that. And then you experience Christian community, and I'm this is what I want to give my life to. And later, what I decided what God called me to.
We should do that very same thing.
I would highly suggest that.
I think there's a unique phenomena happening, in not just in youth, but in young people in general, where the smoke and mirrors and big parties and they don't work as well anymore.
They see past it.
Yes.
It's not attractive to them. Is that right?
Yes. They would rather be discipled. They would rather learn. And I think we are cheating ourselves to not seriously consider that when we're planning programming. Because with students, they see through the jokes and lies. They want authenticity and they want truth. And when you start to build programming around that, you really do need consistency and close discipleship. You need volunteers who are willing to spend time with students and not just show up only on Wednesdays or only on Sundays. And it's really, really cool and interesting to be a part of at least ministry to younger people right now, because that's where they're showing up. We've got kids who within the last 18 months are well, I decided to come here and because I was learning something.
Because it challenged me.
Yes.
I feel like I'm growing.
Exactly. And then,
not you had the loudest music or the coolest venue or whatever.
Well, when I was their age, I wanted to go to the church where, the pastor yelled at me because I thought that was them challenging me. When in reality, that's a show. And the challenge can come, from just reading scripture plainly and, actually seeking truth. You don't have to be mad and angry.
Yeah, you don't need to be intense to help people grow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. And that's a different generation, I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Very cool. Anything else for that, Red?
Well, I think that, it's a successful model, that kind of angry model, because when people have questions, preaching certainty with certainty fulfills something.
That's how a certain vein of our kind of modern Christian popularity is doing it.
But it's only conviction, and there's a lack of depth, and a lack of a specific challenge that comes from sometimes a softer voice. That doesn't mean it's like not valid, because I think that
well, it's okay to get mad about stuff.
Yeah,
there's stuff you should be mad about.
Yeah, I kind of think of like the whole facet. Like if you look at Jesus as like a big diamond with a lot of cuts, that you look at a facet of him, and a facet is anger, righteous anger, of course. A facet is that, but there's a lot of other facets of Jesus that are very gentle.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
The anger is toward insiders who were manipulating religion. The softness is to the sinner.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, and to your earlier point, Tanner, about the smoke and mirrors. I mean, when I worked for BSM for like 5 years, but 5 years. And one thing we've always encountered is, there's an assumption to be made of like, as America is becoming sort of a post-Christian nation, that we're kind of over some of this stuff. But youth and college students still have a growing amount of like spiritual hunger and desire. It's just that
they're seeking truth.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's still so much fertile ground.
When I think even more so than seeking truth, because we found in youth ministry lately that the argument with students, or we're no longer trying to convince students that there is a God or that there's something out there worth worshiping. We're trying to convince students that God is good and his name is Jesus. And not only is he good, but he loves them and he wants them to be part of something bigger than themselves, something that matters. So it's not about convincing a student, Christianity is real. It's about convincing them that it's good and that it's worth being a part of, which is not something like I grew up in a similar context. Everybody went to youth group, and that didn't necessarily mean you were a Christian, but it was weird to be anything but Christian. So it took some serious challenges in my own life to realize, this is actually worth pursuing.
To kind of parse out the cultural Christianity from like the true.
Yeah, and what do they say? Sort of an inoculated gospel. Like you get just enough to
think you're good.
To think you're good.
Well, that was a very enjoyable but unexpected conversation. I think I introduced it. I don't know. Yeah. We were talking about the fall. Yeah. We got through youth ministry.
Yeah. That's a crazy promo.
Well, I was trying to throw up we've got stuff for young people.
Well, no. And anytime we have anybody that's not the normal people in here, we want to talk about your ministry life, because people listen to this and they want to know what's going on in their church. So not a waste of time. Don't hear me say that. No. And we could spend the whole time talking about youth. And I think it would be enjoyable, not just informative, but there's also, I want to plug a couple things in August. The 3rd, you're doing, you'll come off the heels of Merge, but there's a teacher training that night. So if you lead in any of our kind of Sunday school ministries, there's a appreciation and information kind of dinner on the 3rd. Then at the end of the month for teachers of adult ministry, a kind of a cool experiment that Ryan Chandler and Brad have been working on, and it's having NT Wright. Sorry, I just saw NT Wright.
Whoa.
Yeah. Better than NT Wright. Todd Still, Dr. Todd Still. We do.
Still.
First Baptist Arlington does love Dr. Still, and he loves us.
Oh my gosh.
It's a mutual thing. So he is coming. Y'all know, I think, he is a leading New Testament scholar. I mean, I know he's familiar to us, but don't forget he's a leading New Testament scholar.
Very highly regarded, in Pauline groups.
He is particularly a Pauline scholar. However, we're having him here to teach us the book of John, and which I'm really excited about it. He and Ryan have been working hard on even narrowing down what in John. They're not going to try to do all 20. Is it 20 chapters or 21? I think it's just 20. I'm second guessing myself. Anyway.
Kyle?
No, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
There's 21, because you think it's ending in 20 and then 21 kind of keeps going, right? Anyway, so we're not going to try to teach all 21. He's picking just the 13 through 16, which is the upper room discourse, which I think I just enjoy that. Let's hone in on something. But anyway, there's a teacher training on the 23rd and 24th, the Friday night and Saturday night. It's just for teachers in terms of who's invited. But if that's interesting to you, anybody, then you can come, and I think they're just asking you to cover your meals, because it's included in the teacher.
The teachers have their meals covered.
Right. But if you want to just sit in the back and learn, because some people, that's just a way they experience God, is through that more intellectual academic learning. So it's actually open to anyone. Just email Lori and she'll get you on the list. But I think they would ask you to pay the $12 or $15 to cover your meals, which
otherwise you'd have to pay tuition at the George W. Truett Theological Seminary.
This is a crazy deal in those terms.
We've had and Dr. Wiles, also don't sleep on that, is a very good academic. And he's taught us, and it's been great. So if you kind of like that kind of thing, I think this is very enjoyable for that. So, and then midweek starts after Labor Day, all the midweek stuff at our church, which includes, obviously in my world, grief, share, divorce care, but there's a lot that we've been working on, and that's exciting, and we'll talk more about that as we get closer to that. So there's my recap of the fall, in addition to just the...
It's coming.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I think there's a lot of good ministry.
Yeah.
And I think there's a place for everybody. We try really hard to make a place for everybody.
There's a fun energy in our church during the fall, like leading, especially when we first come back after summer.
In fact, Kyle, who's behind the camera, when we did the service of remembrance last year, we have done it historically in the last 3 or 4 years in late August. And that really has to do with the time that we first did it. We just felt like we needed to do it, and anyway. And the only critique that we got really is that it's a very meaningful service, and we'll continue to do it. But it's kind of right in the middle of like this really hyped, high energy kickoff. And you have like the schedule is like boom, 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 fun, fun, fun. And then it's like, and now we will bring it down. And so we've actually moved it back toward the end of October, just for those that are, we'll promote that more in August. Like we're not doing it. We didn't forget about it, but we've kicked it back 6 weeks or so to put it more in the appropriate time, and to be closer to All Saints Day, which satisfies something in me, just to be part of the global kind of remembrance of the saints.
That's great.
Saints in quotes. We don't actually have saints, but anyway. Okay. We're 35 minutes in.
We have a sermon to talk about.
Well, we can.
I want to talk about the sermon.
Well, y'all, because I invited these guys to come in here before they sat through the sermon, y'all actually listened well, and Tanner's got notes out.
I do have notes.
We listen to every sermon.
Dr. Wiles, I listen to every single sermon.
Go on.
I don't always take notes.
But I mean, I see it.
You just need to be on the podcast.
Sermon, Romans 12. Ryan, do you have notes?
I do have notes.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's at least talk through some of your notes.
Yeah.
You know, the classic Tell Me More, the reason we started it is basically like, you know, and obviously we've derailed from that because we're 35 minutes in, is if you had more time, where would you go with this? You know? And so I do want to say this text it's 3 verses, but man, the context behind it, the vocabulary, it's just packed. It's just very, very like, I'm kind of thinking of like a cooking, like a bouillon cube, you know, it's like very rich, and you have to kind of almost dilute it to get more out of it. So
one of my favorite parts of the whole sermon is when you leaned on Dr. Terry Moore.
Yeah.
Dr. Deacon.
Terry Moore. Yeah.
And she just said the Greek is Greeking. And to be honest with you, the translation she gave was awesome. I'm not sure it was more helpful than the like normal NIV. And like it's difficult.
It is, and I think I even said like I'm not sure this brings clarity, but it brings accuracy, and we can go up the accuracy, and then that's where it kind of went. The way I thought the N.T. Wright quote was always. I mean, N.T. Wright, he just has a way with words, and he actually like in our church theological library is really good. We got 6, 8, 10 really good commentaries, and he actually wrote the one on Romans in NIB, the New Interpreters, yeah. But in the New Interpreters, for whatever reason, they have kind of buried who wrote them. Like, you have to look really hard to see who wrote this, where all the other commentaries is written on the front. Like Romans would be like Douglas Moo or Charles Talbert. Those are both in the library. But when you read the Romans one, you're like, man, this is really good. I wonder who wrote this. And you have to really flip through the kind of the credits buried in the front of the book and look like alphabetically.
And it's
through
New Interpreters is probably my favorite commentary series.
New Interpreters is excellent. And depending on, the NIV application can just...
Also great.
Oh my gosh, especially Mark with Dr. Mark. He was our dean at Truett before Dr. Still.
Oh, Garland?
Yeah. He wrote the Mark of the New Interpreter, and that's, just read it as a devotional if you want to. But anyway.
I'm a Smith and Hellis kind of guy.
The Smith and Hellis is excellent.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Resource Library at FBCA.
I will say, truly, the Resource Library,
it's awesome.
If we didn't have it, I would have to spend a lot of church money or Katie and Ryan money to just build a library just for me. But we have this as a shared resource, and it's excellent, and they're not cheap. Like, each of those books is like $50 each. Oh, yeah. So return them if they're still sitting on your shelf somewhere at home, because it's just church.
We use.
Yeah, we got to spend church money to rebuy them, and but it's a great resource, and it makes our church better. And I want to thank Kurt Grice for preserving that. We always say Kurt, people joke that Kurt killed the library. What Kurt did is take all the more like novels and books people weren't checking out.
The Left Behinds.
Yeah, really. And just got some of that out, which you can truly get at your local corner library, and kept the rich theological books. I mean, there's atlases of the Old Testament. There's all this commentary, just the stuff that a church needs to provide for its people. And it's in a really great kind of study room. And I want everybody to use it.
Yeah, I do too. I plugged it in my Sunday school class.
You checked out a book.
Yeah, by Todd Still on his Philippians.
Yeah, and you didn't have to pay for it, but you also didn't have to just Google and hope that whatever you got is, or Chat GPT, and hope that whatever comes to the surface is good. And I think that's just an extremely valuable. What?
No, Tanner has hot takes on Chat GPT that we're not going to cover right now.
Okay.
Like we cannot.
I did experiment with some Chat GPT in my sermon prep.
Okay. That's great.
We cannot talk about
how did it go?
Kyle says keep moving. Kyle says keep moving.
His hot takes are flaming.
Let's move on, but I will say this. It's a good tool, and it needs to be used appropriately.
I agree.
Okay, moving on.
The
fact that I called out Terry Moore or utilized Terry Moore.
I was just saying that was one of my favorite. The other thing that I wrote down, and this isn't an exact quote but it's like the essence of what you said was, or you're asking the question, how do we as First Baptist Church of Arlington convince ourselves, both as a staff and as a whole congregation? So how do we as FBCA convince ourselves and our people that we depend and belong to one another?
Yep.
And then I in my head, I reminded myself of like a country club, and how that's not what we want to be.
Right. And I mentioned Shady Valley. I hope y'all know. I think Shady Valley is awesome.
Yeah.
One day we might be members of Shady Valley.
Really?
But it's. I mean, I have no because I there's people listen to it that are Shady Valley people. Like, there's no we just talked about golf for way too long. Like that is a good thing, and in an age of loneliness, that's a really good thing. It's just not the church.
Yeah.
Like, that's just two different things.
My answer to your question, or one of my answers to your question, is there is a difference between associating with something and actually belonging and depending on a body or group.
That's good. That's good.
Because you associate with, you're a member of Shady Valley.
And it can even have some identity to it. And again, not in a bad way. No. Like, if not at all. Yeah.
But you're not necessarily depending, and I think y'all have this unique, beautiful example of, your world had the possibility, and in some ways did, just end when you guys were told that you were going to have triplets.
Yeah.
But,
and ours is a story of joy. It ended well. But we have people, I just look out when I'm preaching. I know there's people that are going through cancer journeys. They're going through extremely hard times, loss, things that just inherently won't have happy. They're not happy. They don't have the potential of happy. And the church just changes their life. Just changes your life.
So
y'all depended on this body, and this body showed up and continues to show up. And it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
So I have a question for both of y'all, but one question in the sermon, we had this very crazy thing happen to us that was very absurd and joyful and loud and crazy. Yeah. And so it was a natural attraction for
everybody knows me. I was 7 years in. People knew me too. It's different.
So if you're, I don't know, just having one baby, as God intended in some ways, but any other life circumstance that is
more subtle.
Subtle, maybe extreme to you, but common in the human journey. Yeah. How do they organically belong? Because I know official belonging is you walk down on a Sunday morning and that process kicks off, and we hope that people do that. That is important. Yeah. But how would both of y'all say, in an organic way, how do I belong to a church?
I have an answer, but I want to hear yours too.
Well, I think first, and this is not always people's first inclination, and it's certainly not easy, but you got to be honest with the people around you. You got to be open about, this is similar in the sense that I am on staff and people know who I am. But when Delaney and I got married, I was terrified that Delaney would not be able to find her place in this church.
Yeah, and a good fear, a reasonable fear.
Yeah, because it's not just my church; it's my job. It's
you're invested.
That's what pays the bills.
Yeah. I need you to figure out how to find a way here.
But we, and it took a while. But Delaney has found beautiful community here, and people reached out to her, and it wasn't for lack of trying, but it just took a while for her to get, the right people in front of her.
Yeah.
And now it's just this amazing relationship where, and she came from a huge church. She was at Watermark, and now she's somewhere. She went from, okay, I'm just another person in the crowd to like, I'm not only in a much smaller congregation, I'm married to someone on staff.
Yeah,
so like you can actually be someone here. And the way our church has embraced Delaney has made me, one, just like proud of Delaney for who she is, but super proud of our church because, and I think some of that was both her and I being honest about what we could and couldn't do, what we did and didn't need. And I think it takes someone who needs something, because sometimes you can't, like, I can't always discern that someone is going through something unless I hear about it or they tell me.
Right. Yeah. How do we know you're struggling unless you let on? Yeah. My short answer would be community. Like, not everybody is going to, ours was a very extreme example. It's just, you laid that out well. But if you live life in community, which here would be Sunday morning Bible studies, and what's emerging is more small groups. But also if you serve together, the choir has its own community. The preschool teachers have their own community. Your youth teachers have their own community. If you are known in a smaller circle, hopefully kind of based on your giftedness too, serving at least. Like Kyle has his AV crew, and they know each other. And so like the church, whatever that, the church might not know you're struggling because you had your first child and you're going through postpartum depression, or you can't make ends meet because your financial life is totally different. Like, that may not hit the big Richter scale church. But hopefully if you're in a Sunday school class, my gosh, your teacher, it knows. And if it's high enough, will call me and we'll come running, I hope. But small things like a meal train in your Sunday school class, that's like basic. And it happens, I think, every time somebody has a baby. I mean, but if you're just coming on Sunday to sit and leave, you're not really doing church the way I would want you to do. It's not a judgmental way, but you're missing out on a lot.
We have more to offer you.
And even a next step would be come to Wednesday Bible study if you're retired and can, and then you're at least sitting at a table with people who notice when you're not there and you're eating and breaking bread. Like, that's a good next step. And people notice when you're gone, or know that your car broke down, or that your dog is at the vet. Just like these small gestures of knowing each other. Like, you have to be known to be loved. Loved well. People love you, but to receive love, you have to be known. And that is inherently vulnerable, and it inherently takes work. And that's how the church has thrived for years. But if you want, like Ryan and I are not rich, we're also not poor, but we look at like DIY projects at our house, and it's like, well, I think we could do this if we had a few friends to help us. Or we can pay somebody $3,000 to do it. You know what I mean? Like, we have a French drain thing that we're like, maybe we'll do it ourselves. But we need community to do it, And it's like, where have we found that community that can help us? Church, and I don't mean like First Baptist Arlington. I mean like the body of believers that just understand that we interdepend and belong to one another. Like my little brother friend Daniel, his days off are Wednesday. So Wednesday and Thursday, because he works at Trader Joe's. And I think he's excellent, and I think he's awesome. But I was like, Daniel, come over, let me pay you. Of course, he wouldn't let me. Spend a day with me while y'all were at camp. I took the Wednesday off, and we just knocked out all these little DIY projects at the house. Cool. And it was really fun. And like I said, Daniel's like a little brother to me. So we had a great, really fun day together. Somehow, by the grace of God, it was like 78 outside. It was like really cool, especially in the morning. And we just knocked out all these projects, and it cost us like relatively nothing. Like, I bought new loppers at Lowe's, and it was really fun and really good. But it's like, this is life together in these very small ways. So like, it wasn't catastrophic. Could have paid somebody to come clear that part of the yard. But like, Daniel and I did it together. And I think that's just small gestures of like the church.
And it was awesome. It was awesome for me because I was working downstairs, and I would just go out and like, hey, y'all do a good job.
Yeah. Ryan was inside.
Peace.
And I'd be like, Ryan, come look. I just power washed the entire front of the house. And he'd be like, let me and my coffee, like, come nod and give you affirmation and go back in and go to work.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think the word I'm hearing, like, that's speaking clearly to me is service, because like service through community, because
it's good.
I think a lot of people come to church and either good or bad expect to be served. Like, how can I be, what am I consuming in worship?
Even fed. That's
or how are you reaching out to me? And in some ways, when you're first starting off, like, or trying to get to know a church, obviously you're going to do some of that. But the way I found community in church is by going on like a very tough, crazy mission trip to Louisiana with some of the college students. And it's like, it was good work. I felt it was God honored it, but also we encountered a lot of just weird things that bonded us together. And so, I mean, those kind of things. And I mean, Tanner, y'all are, I'm sure, always looking for volunteers.
Oh yeah. And let's not waste the moment.
And I can't think of a better way if you're capable and able to work with youth and you have some sort of passion for it. I can't think of a better way to find community in our church than doing things like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, I think people just like to be taken seriously. So like when you come to serve, like, and you like take a college student or a high school or junior high student, and you just come and take them seriously and listen to what they have to say, even if they don't deserve to be taken seriously, or whatever they're saying in the moment doesn't deserve to be taken seriously. Yeah. Because obviously they're image bearers, and we tell our youth all the time, like, you are not a junior member of the church. You are a member of First Baptist Church of Arlington, and that means something. It means that you're part of this body, just like anybody else's, just like it says in Romans 12, and you have a place, a part of this body.
And we actually believe that. I mean, I believe that. I really do. Youth have an energy, and they've not been jaded. Yeah. So like when Jesus says something, they're like, I think we actually have to go do this. Where I think me, 20 years later, 30 years later, I'm like, oh, I mean, this is very inconvenient, But they're like, no, this is what we're supposed to be doing. Like they have a really pure faith and kind of unadulterated. And I think we need it. It can bring revival. Like we need to take them seriously in that way.
Absolutely.
And govern it, right? Like the mature people can help come alongside it, but don't stifle it. Don't stifle it because it's really, really good. So obviously that's my college minister coming out too. Like they can change the world and have. So,
absolutely.
Okay, we're like a long way into this podcast. So we don't have to stop now, but we need to land the plane.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I hear this, listener. There's a place for you here. We're saving a spot for you, whether it's on a Sunday morning or a Wednesday night or throughout our week. But we're not just saving a seat for you to sit and listen. We're saving a seat for you to come and serve. And we want you here, and we're excited for you to be a part of it, right?
What more is there to say?
I agree. And for me, one of my favorite parts of the sermon was the baptism that kicked it off. And I'm like, this is kind of it ties it all together.
Chris Foster.
Well, a very good job by you in leading that.
Amen.
Baptism is not easy to do. It has a lot of choreography to it.
Yes.
So you did it really well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. That's my third baptism ever. So
they're harder than they look.
I told them the two things you need to remember are saying Jesus is Lord and bend your knees.
No, I mean, it's hard for you.
Yes, it is hard for me, but like coordinating it all.
What you said earlier was much better. We can even cut this last part if we need to, which we never do. Ryan Hodges, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
It was a joy.
Long-time listener, first-time physical caller. Here I am.
We're glad you're here.
Okay. Thank y'all. Have a good week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Tell Me More podcast today. You can subscribe to this podcast on your app of choice, or you can visit us at fbca.org to find out more information about the podcast and our church. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.